Hey everybody, how are you? My name is Johnny Wright, and this is the Jonnie Test. Yes, in lieu of coaching this week at your normal day and time, you will instead take this test. And there are two versions of it. Well, it's the same audio. It's the same exact thing. There is a video version or YouTube where this test is being posted, and also a podcast, audio only. So whichever way you want to take the test, totally up to you. Again, it's the exact same audio, exact same questions. My lovely wife, Lori, and I will be on vacay for this week as we celebrate her birthday, which just passed in October, my birthday approaching in November. I will be 27. Very excited about the birthday celebration. Hey, this test is about 40 or so questions, and it really is the gamut of coaching that we've talked about in our sessions over time. So some of the questions will have to do with phase one, the incoming call script. Some of them will do with phase two, have to do with phase two, the price shopper coaching. And some have to do with phase three, which is presenting the work. Now, not all of you I work with have been through all of the phases. So take your best shot. Do your best. That's all you can do. None of you are going to know the answers to all of these questions. A challenge. Is that what you're saying, Johnny? Yes, I am. Some of these questions will also be outside the realm of the word tracks of scripting. Bigger picture questions. All right, things that we have spoken of in coaching sessions, and some things we haven't ever talked about, but use your best judgment, your reasoning, your ability to reason, to think. Yes. And so all of your answers will be written down on a blank Word document that you will create. So you're typing up your answers. You are not writing them. I can't read my own writing. I cannot read your writing. So in order to submit your answers, they must be written in a Word document, numbered 1, 2, 3, and so forth. And then save that document under your name, first and last, please, and then email your responses to me. All responses must be received by Friday, noontime. All right, Friday noontime. This week's Friday noontime. So I have all of them, and then we will go over your answers in the following week's coaching sessions. Okay? In terms of what kinds of questions I'll be asking you, some will be simple, easy peasy lemon squeezy, multiple choice. Now, not many of those kinds of questions. All right. There will be some even simpler ones. There will be yes or no kinds of questions. Most of the questions will be narrative. They will require you to think through and to write out your answer. And again, do your best. We'll have a blast going over the answers. You'll learn a lot. And all you can do is do your best. All right. So without further ado, let me bring up today's test, which I smartly wrote out the questions and didn't just depend on my memory. Old man memory. Can't read people's writing and can't remember nothing. Okay. Question number 1. What is the power phrase? Yes, from phase 1, the incoming call script. What is the power phrase? Specifically, what is the wording of the power phrase? Please type that out. All right, power phrase. Okay, all right. Question number 2, why do we use it? What is its purpose? It has a purpose, specifically from coaching. You learned this. Why do we say the power phrase the way we say it? Why do we say it that way? Okay. Written out. Good. Okay, so questions 1 and 2, and you can continue writing here if you need more time. Questions 1 and 2 represent tactics and philosophy. So tactics are the words of the power phrase, how we do it, how we say it. Philosophy is why we do something. And so with any coaching, anything we learn inside the shop or inside any business, both of these elements should be combined. Show me how to do it and tell me why we're doing it this way. It's not enough to just have one of those. Each has to be fully developed, which is why we are so granular, as they say, and when we do phone skills coaching. Okay. Speaking of tactics and philosophy, what are the tactics and philosophy, question number 3, behind the extra question? What are the tactics and philosophy behind the extra question. We are still in phase 1 now. Tactics and philosophy behind the extra question. In other words, what are the words to the extra question, and why do we ask it? What are the words, and why do we ask that crazy thing? Remember that? Okay, the words and the why. All right. Question number 4, and you can pause this at any time if you need more time, of course. Question number 4. So all of us know that customers ask for a price because they can't afford it. We know that. We understand that's why they're asking for a price, okay? If we know that, then is it better just to give them a price, just to cough it up? Hey, how much are brakes for a Ford F-250? All right, person probably can't afford it. I know this. Let me just go in. Is it just better to do that? Would that be more efficient? Would that make more sense? Yes or no? Okay? Easy yes or no question. Not an easy question. Well, actually, it kind of is. Easy to write the answer. It's either yes or no. Okay? Question number 5. What does SW, SW, SW mean? Does that sound familiar? Well, we've talked about it in coaching. What does SW, SW, SW mean? It's an acronym. Yes, each letter stands for a word. What does SW, SW, SW mean? Write that out, please. All right. Question number 6. What is an hour of your time worth? Now, it's not what you make, okay? And any of you who've watched the Biosphere Toolbox video that I've sent to you about what is an hour of your time worth or what is your time worth, you know where I'm going. You can feel it. You're picking up what I'm putting down? Yes. So it's not what you make, it's what an hour of your time is worth to you. It's not what you get paid for that hour. What is an hour of time worth to you? An hour of your time. Okay? Got it? Question number 7. What is more important, car count or ARO? Which is more important, car count or ARO? Okay. Got it? All right. Question number 8. This one will be pushing the boundaries of what we have discussed in coaching. What is one tactic of de-escalating conflict with a coworker? What is a tactic? Now, we talked about tactic and philosophy, so what's the process? What's the tactic? What are the words? What's the approach? What is one tactic of de-escalating conflict with a coworker? And you have the conflict, or somebody else has the conflict with this coworker, whoever. What is a tactic of de-escalating it? Super important with customers, coworkers, everybody. Lots of conflict out there in our skulls. What's a tactic? All right, question number 9. Should you charge customers to use your loaner cars? It assumes you have some. I think all of you do, at least one. Should you charge your customers to use your loaner cars? If you've got their car, you got to keep it a couple of days. Should you charge them to use that loaner car? Why or why not? So kind of a two-pronged question. Should you charge them, yes or no? And why or why not? Justify it. Why you should charge them or why you shouldn't. Okay? Question number 10. This is a story problem. And I hated them too in math in high school. But this one, I think you'll enjoy. Story problem is customer writes a bad review that mentions you by name. Okay? Now, to back the truck up here a little bit, at the counter, when you talked to that customer about their experience, they looked you in the eye and they said it was great. Yeah, everything's fine. Nope, no issues, no problems at all. And then 2 days later, they went home and they wrote a 1-star Google review that mentions you by name. Okay, that's a scenario. How do you respond? How should you respond? And there are specific strategies for responding to this. How would you respond? How should the shop respond? Okay, think about that. How do you respond to that? Okay? You can pause this if you need more time. Question number 11. What is Abraham Maslow known for? What is Abraham Maslow known for? We've talked about little old Abraham Maslow in coaching. What's he known for? He grew up in the Bronx. Remember that at all? Okay. What's he known for? Question 11. Question number 12. What are the 3 benefits of asking the customer, when do you want to bring in your vehicle? What are the 3 benefits? 3 benefits of asking the customer, hey, when do you want to bring in your vehicle? This is during the appointment scheduling. What are the benefits, 3 of them, of asking the customer, hey, when do you want to bring in your car, your truck, your Malibu, your Prius, whatever? Even if you can think of 2 of them, that would be great. You know what, even if you could think of 1, we'll go with that. If you're stuck on 1, great, okay. Question number 13. How much revenue does one customer generate over a period of a year on average? How much revenue does one of your customers generate over a period of a year on average? How much? How much is a customer worth over a period of a year in terms of revenue? Okay. Question number 14. How do you respond when you're presenting the work? Okay, you've got the estimate together, you present the work, and you lay it out, and the customer says, I can't afford it. How do you respond? Now, for those of you who've had P3 coaching, there is a response to this, and even those who haven't, I have shared there is a very specific response. Okay, that, I'd look for that. What other possibilities might there be? How do you respond when the customer says, I can't afford it? What do you say? Okay. Question number 15. What is the minimum goal for ARO? What is the minimum goal for shop ARO? What is the minimum goal for shop ARO? I want to exclude those of you who do Uber, Lyft, and Intoxilock. Let's remove those from the equation. Let's talk about regular kinds of repair work. Okay, let's get rid of Uber, Lyft, Intoxilock. What's a minimum goal for ARO? Okay, question 16. What are the 3 services you provide that have the highest gross profit? What are the 3 services your shop provides that have the highest GP? What are they? You should know this, absolutely. What are the 3 services that provide the highest GP in your shop? Question 16. Question number 17. A customer does not show up for their scheduled 9 a.m. drop-off. What should you do? Customer does not show up for their 9 a.m. drop-off time. What should you do? Crying is not one of the answers. Question number 18. What is the proper response when a customer asks you for a price? There is but one answer, and one answer only. Now, for those of you who haven't had price shopper coaching, you may struggle with this a bit, but if you know your P1s, then you will know this from P2. P1 is really the key to the answer here. What is the proper response when a customer asks you for a price? Let me get rid of that so I don't get confused. Question number 19. Kind of a story problem here. You are upset that a fellow service advisor is taking too many customers, and so you're getting fewer opportunities to sell the work. Ever happen? Yeah, service advisor kind of hogging the customers. All right. And maybe part of your compensation is based on, well, if it's based on group GP or, whatever it is. So anyway, you feel like you're not getting a fair shot because this service advisor is kind of hogging the customers. What do? I'm going to give you some options. This is the first multiple choice, I do believe. Here are the options. I want you to pick one of these. First, do you complain to the owner or manager? Option number 1. Option number 2, do you say something to the service advisor who appears to be, you're just unhappy because they are taking more than their share of customers? Option number 3, do you ignore it? Option number 4, do you work harder to get more tickets? So 4 options are, number 1, complain to the owner or the manager. Number 2, say something to the service advisor directly. Number 3, ignore it. Or 4, work harder to get more tickets. What do? What's your approach? There's one great answer here. And a lot of other bad ones. Question number 20. All right, so you've gotten through the first 20 questions, which is fantastic. I'm going to reward you with this. The person who scores the highest on this test is going to win $1,000. 1,000 big ones, 1,000 smackaroonies. Whoever scores the highest. If we have a tie, I'll draw one. Or maybe I'll have a bonus question or something. So, you would not know that unless you took the test up to this point. You wouldn't know that. I haven't told anybody that I coach with that there was cash on the line. Some of your colleagues will not take this test as it was assigned. Some won't. They won't. Okay, whatever the reason, doesn't matter. But if you were the owner of the shop where you work and an employee disregarded taking the test, didn't take it. Doesn't matter, not going to take it. I don't know my coaching session, whatever the excuse posing as a reason is. You're the owner, and they didn't take the test that I've asked you to take, that you are taking. Remember that as an owner, you're paying for this coaching, paying for the service advisor to be in it, paying for the service advisor to learn from it and to become a better service advisor. And to do every damn thing that I say. How would you handle that as an owner? What would you do? You got the keys to it, man. You're the owner. Service advisor didn't take the test. Supposed to take it. Didn't do it. How would you handle it? That's question 20. All right, question 21. What is the purpose of asking if the customer has been in before? What is the purpose of asking if the customer has been in before? And it is not to look them up in the system. That is not the reason you ask that question. And maybe your reason. It's not a coaching reason. There's a specific answer to this. Why do we ask people if they've been in our shop before? Why? What's the philosophy of asking them that tactical question? Got it? Okay. Question number 22. And if you want to pause this and think about question 21 a bit more. Question 22, what other concerns are you having, is an example of a blank question. What other concerns are you having is an example of a blank question. Now, I'll take 2 responses here. There's actually one which is really the right answer, and another answer which also fulfills the what I'm asking for here. What other concerns are you having is an example of a blank question. Fill in the blank. Question number 23. Putting chocolate at the front counter for customers is designed to do what? Now, this is, for many of you, nothing we've ever talked about. So this will be a great conversation. Putting chocolate at the front counter for customers is designed to do what? What's that designed to do? And no, it's not designed to make them fat so that they get worse gas mileage and they come to us complaining about bad mileage, which gives us another opportunity to service their vehicles. Although I like where you're going with that. That's very devious. I like where you're going. But no. Why do we put chocolate at the counter? There's a reason we do this. That we talk to shop owners about doing this. All right. Question number 24. There are 3 reasons to do a walk around with a customer. What are they? A walk around with a customer. I have sent out the video, how to do a great walk around. In that video, it explains in detail the 3 reasons. Even if you haven't seen it. Okay. What are 3 reasons to do a walk around with a customer? There are at least 3. What are they? 3 reasons to do a walk around. Question 24. Okay. Question 25. Your shop performs multi-point inspections. What word is missing? Very clever, Johnny. Yes. Your shop performs multi-point inspections. What word is missing? You know it? Got it? Question 26. Why is that word so important? Why is that word so important? Hello, Abraham Maslow? Hello? Oh, yes. Why is that word so important? Question 27 is a story problem. It says a technician is failing to do proper inspections. Okay, so you've got a technician working in the shop, not doing the inspections properly, maybe pencil whipping them, or maybe just skipping them on occasion. This technician is relatively new to the shop. They're doing an okay job in other ways, but they're kind of messing up here on inspections, okay? What is the first question to ask him or her? Now, this comes from the document, How to Critique Without Being Critical. There's a great question to ask them, those of you who have read that document. And I think it's awesome, and not just because I wrote it, but it is a great, great document on how to help people get better who may be falling short, okay? So there's a question, the first question. You have a technician failing to do inspections at a high level consistently and maybe failing to do them sometimes at all. What's the first question you ask him or her? What's the first question? I love that this is going to generate so much conversation in our coaching sessions. Really excited about all of these questions for that matter. Okay. Question number 28. How do we get customer phone numbers during the appointment scheduling process on the phone? There is a specific way from phase 1. How do we get phone numbers? Customer phone numbers. Not how your shop does it, how we coach you to do it, which then becomes part of how your shop does it, right? These 2 things are working together to make things better. How do you get customer phone numbers during appointment scheduling? How should you? Is a better question. What's the best practice? There's a specific process, tactics, philosophy. Okay. 29, what is the difference between management and leadership? Oh, that's a big question. What is the difference between management and leadership? These 2 things are very different. They have some stark differences. And one of the differences is actually something that I've talked to you about, some of you, in coaching sessions. What's the difference between management and leadership? What's the difference between managers and leaders? What's the difference as you see it? Okay. Question 30. If you have to pause, you want to think about it, great. Question 30. What does research tell us about how long a customer will wait on hold before they become agitated? What's the latest research? It tells us what is a customer's tolerance for being on hold? How much time will they be on hold until they start to, freak out, become agitated? How long? Okay. Question number 31. Why do we say, how may I help you instead of how can I help you in phase 1 greeting, in the phase 1 greeting? Why do we say, how may I help you instead of how can I help you? Why? So the tactics are we say, how may I help you? Why? Because most of the time, people that we start working with will be saying, how can I help you? Or sometimes the absolutely ghastly, can I help you? Not many of you. Thank goodness. Why do we say, how may I help you, instead of how can I help you in phase 1? Question number 32. What are 3 reasons customers ask for a price? For those of you who've had P2 coaching, there are a number of reasons. Even if you haven't had phase 2 price shopper coaching, what do you think are 3 reasons? You'll probably be right if you really stop and think about it. There are multiple reasons customers ask us for a price. What are 3 of them? If you come up with 2, I'll give you some love, all right? What are some reasons customers ask about price? Question number 33. Waiters, in other words, people who wait in our shops, spend, on average, how much compared to drop-offs? This is not a dollar amount. This is a percentage. Comparing what waiters spend, the ARO of waiters versus drop-offs. There's a difference. What percentage difference is there between what waiters spend compared to customers who drop their car off, throw us the keys? Command and control. Okay, question 34. Which of these terms best describes you? Ready? All right. Do you see yourself as an employee, as a service advisor or service manager, if you happen to be that, whatever your title, as a consultant, or as a hero? You can pick only one to the exception of all others. I want to force you through a portal to think about what it is, how you see yourself, your role. Which of these then best describes you to the exception of all others? Is it employee, service advisor, consultant, or hero? All right. Question number 35. Why is the first 10 seconds of the conversation and the appointment scheduling so important? Why is the first 10 seconds, something we've talked about in Coaching P1, the first 10 seconds extremely important? Why? Why is that first 10 seconds so important when customers call in to schedule an appointment? Dovetailing into question number 36. You need a little more time for question 35? Okay. All right. I'll slow down. Question 36. Over 80% of how we communicate on the phone is dictated by what? Over 80% of how we communicate on the phone is dictated by this one thing. What is it? What's that one thing? What is it? What do you remember from coaching? P1 coaching, phase 1. Something that many of you worked really hard on. Question 36, story problem. Okay, customer with a 2009 Buick LeSabre states that, tells you they call you with, get an oil change, okay? Brand new customer, never been in before. This is their first visit. I've got an 09 Buick LeSabre. They tell you when they drop off their LeSabre that they don't have a lot of money to spend on it. I don't have a lot of money. Does that sound familiar? Anybody ever say that to you? Okay, you have this 09 LeSabre, high miles. You do the inspection, and it turns out this car needs about $7,000 worth of work. What is your strategic approach? I'm going to give you some options, and there are a number of them. So they drop off their 09 LeSabre, brand new customer, for an oil service. You do the inspection. Car turns out to need $7,000 worth of work. Do you, A, tell them the car is not worth saving? B, only share what needs to be corrected, that is a safety concern? C, ask them if it is okay if you share everything found during the inspection? D, prioritize safety and performance concerns, but really focus on the $4,000 you think you can get from the customer. E, present everything. Or F, it's not your customer, and you should not have let them into the shop in the first place. So you get a number of options here. Customer brings in this kind of a POS 09 Buick DeSabre, new customer, tells you don't have a lot of money. Do the oil service, you do the inspection, need $7,000 worth of work. Do you A, tell them the car is not worth saving? B, only share what needs to be corrected that is a safety concern? C, ask them if it is okay if you share everything found during the inspection? D, prioritize safety and performance, but really focus on the $4,000 you think you can get from that customer? E, present everything. Or F, it's not your customer, not your circus, not your monkeys. And you never probably should have let them in the shop anyway. Okay, those are your options. One of these answers is correct. One of them. And only one. Based on coaching. Which is the correct answer, the right answer, the accurate answer. Question number, hang on a minute, 38. Okay, story problem again. Story is you're working by yourself at the counter. All by your lonesome. Does this sound familiar? Sometimes it happens, right? You're at the counter by yourself and you're taking care of a customer who is in front of you, and the phone rings. What do you do? Mr. and Mrs. Awesome. You're at the counter by yourself. You're working with a customer who's at the counter. And the phone rings. Nobody's going to answer it except you, maybe, or not. What do you do in that scenario? That is question number 38. Question number 39. I need to renumber this question. 39. Oh, flip. It won't switch. All right, question number 39. Who invented the walk-around? Who invented the walk-around? Somebody invented it from walk-around coaching. Who invented it? The walk-around. Question number 40. Which of the big five is the most important and why? To the exclusion of all others, you can pick only one. Of the big five that we talk about at the beginning of every session, give me your big five from last week. Which of the big five numbers, to the exclusion of all others, is the most important and why? Question number 41. Telling you there will be 45 questions and there are actually 46 is an example of what? Question number 41. Telling you there will be 45 questions and there are actually 46 is an example of what? Okay, you got that? That's it. You are done. We are at just over about the 30-minute mark in terms of the test. How did you do? How do you think you did? Remember, write your answers down in a blank Word document, numbered, and label it with your name, and email it to me by Friday of this week, Friday by noon your time. And we will go over your responses. And again, you know from earlier in the test, what's at stake? Because that was stated earlier. I won't state it at the end, just for those who listened and took the whole test. All right. I hope you had fun with this. I hope it challenged your mind, made you think a little bit. We will drill down into the answers from this test next week. I look forward to chatting with each and every one of you. Meantime, you know how I roll, man. Have tired legs from kicking so much ass, Superman, Superwoman. Y'all are fantastic at what you do, and it is a tremendous pleasure to work with all of you. In the meantime, I'm on a beach, baby, and I hope you're having fun wherever you may be. Talk to you next week. And now we'll stop.